Here's a quick look at some of the architecture and buildings which I found really inspiring for artwork in Venice. Venice is stunning, it's absolutely beautiful, and I don't actually know what I was expecting, but I do know that it's built onto logs which have been driven into clay to create a foundation which the streets and the buildings are built onto. So I don't think I was expecting so much stonework, seeing all the columns, the carvings and things like that. I just wasn't expecting that because I thought that'd be extra weight. So I think I was expecting more functional rather than buildings which are outwardly pretty. Another thing about Venice was it was really difficult to get any pictures which didn't have people in. We turned up super early. We were on like the first bus over, so we were there from about 6 o'clock in the morning, and it was beautiful. The temperature was lovely, but the streets did fill up super quickly, and by midday it was like a theme park, and it just wasn't enjoyable. So luckily we got all our photographs, the reference photos, and visited the places we wanted to visit first thing in the morning. So one of the places I really wanted to see was Ponte di Chiado. I think that's how it's pronounced. So it's the bridge that has no railings, and I think from what I've seen on the internet that this is one of the last bridges in Venice which still has its original build. So this is how all the bridges would have been. So actually for most of the day I was just obsessed with how the water in the canals was reflecting on the bridges or reflecting the buildings and the archways into the water. I was just capturing loads and loads of reference photos. I have so many. I'll be drawing bridges and arches and reflections of Venice for years to come. I just really like this archway. I don't know why. Sometimes I just walk past something and it just really captures my imagination and I want to draw it, and this is one of those things. I liked softness and the stillness of the area. The water in Venice canals is really green and really still, so it's got this mystical feel to it. I liked the soft afternoon light just bouncing through the archway. I liked the weathered effect. You could see all the layers of history, the steps just fading off into the distance of the arch and also down into the canal. So yeah, I think what I was trying to capture was just a bit of mystery and a softness in the layers. This was one of the more unusual places we explored in Venice. It is a crypt which is under the San Zaccaria church. You walk down into it, and due to the rising sea levels, the floor of the crypt is flooded. It creates this still pool. The room's quite cold. It reflects all the columns, the tombs, the vaulted ceiling into it, and it's just a really eerie place. But it was very interesting, and the church itself has a lot of history in it as well. The canals of Venice are absolutely beautiful. The water is this mysterious green colour and it's very still, and the only two ways to get around Venice are by walking or by taking a boat. You don't have to do a private boat tour. They're very short and they're quite costly. You can use some of the water taxis and they travel around much further and you see a lot more from them, so I'd recommend those. Next drawing I did was a much more traditional drawing. It's in watercolor and it's using wash and line technique. This gives it a really kind of fluid look, which I thought would go really well with the canals and the water features I was trying to capture in Venice. And so it's using a fine liner pen to set the detail. I wanted to capture all the archways in this reference photo. I really liked the perspective of it disappearing off into the distance and the colours in the canal. I was going for bright, I was going for cheerful, calming, just everything which this reference photo reminded me of, whilst trying to get some of the architecture into the picture, and I was going to bring that out with the line work. The thing with wash and line work is to try and not be too precise with the lines. You want that kind of scribbly feel, you want the looseness of the watercolour and the scribbles on the paper to kind of just reflect the movement, and that's kind of what I was going for with this picture. It's one of the reasons I think that wash and line works really well with anything urban. So I like to use it best when I'm trying to capture buildings, architecture, stonework, anything like that. So here we are back to sightseeing again, just walking around the canals, watching some of the boats go under the bridges. Amazing just to see the techniques that they use. This bridge and the building you can see next to it is one which I'm definitely going to paint. I just love the worn effect, all the different brickwork, again the plaster's all falling off. It's just a really cool building and it's going to make a really, really cool picture. I do wish I'd managed to capture more pictures and more videos as we were walking around, but yeah, it was just super busy. It's definitely a place I'll probably go back to, but probably in an off season, and just see if I can explore a bit more before all the rest of the tourists turn up.